Good. A pleasure to be here with you. We are aware that this conversation is to be a gate opening. For you are the gatekeepers for others to their own, we would call it higher knowledge in Earth terms, but we will say cosmic knowledge. When you are aware of your cosmic origins, you are more connected to and tapped into the frequency of telepathy, the frequency of healing, and other realms, the realms beyond what you can see as a human whose senses have not yet opened to the realms of the soul. They are still fixated on the human game, as it were. So we are aware that you are here on the planet at this time, among other reasons, to be gatekeepers for this knowledge. Not that you are holding anything back, but instead your own curiosity, but also your own past lives, equip you to bring this information and bridge this information. Jonathan has had many lives where healing has been his way, and Mayim, you come from many lifetimes in scholarly roles. So for you, being a scholar, being a student, and also being a teacher has been a big part of your work on Earth. It is why you were gifted with the voice and communication in the way that you were. You had a brave heart around communication, like many on Earth who come here with a gift that costs you a lot at certain times in your earlier life until you learnt to stabilize more of your own sensitivity so that you could stand in the power of leadership that you have. Jonathan, for you, it has been almost the opposite process. You have been slowly coming into your outer expression over the years. Your inner expression was always very strong, very intact, and very sensory. But your outer expression has been something you have been developing. So you also wanted to bring through this information for others at a time and a period in history that is very challenging and difficult to discern what is true, what is not. And of course, the truth is always personal and perspective based, but you are also doing this conversation today and all of the conversations you do at a time in history where manipulation and lies are becoming both more exposed, but also more problematic on Earth. So this is an urgent time on Earth in terms of people coming to know their own truth, their own power, and the power of this collective to shift you all forward into a brighter timeline other than the one that you are being offered right now by those in control and in power. So we will not say too much more, for we are aware you have a lot of questions for us.
One of the questions I have is, it definitely feels like we're in a very precarious time in history. Truth, safety, privacy, the emergence of artificial intelligence. What is your view of this era that we're in, and where can we look to find hope?
You are in what we would call a storm period on Earth. You are having both the emergence of what we would call galactic technology appear on Earth. The emergence of this technology has been, shall we say, hidden from you, scrubbed from your history books, taken out of the records. So for many humans, this seems a surprisingly fast time. But for those who are aware of some of the technology that has existed for a long time, that has been suppressed or hidden, it is not as fast as you would think. And in fact, we will say the decade between 2030 and 2040 will be a lightning speed. In many ways, you are getting used to that now to 2030. But you are, we will call it, at a convergence point where many timelines can occur at once on Earth. And that is what makes this period of history new. Certainly for those of you who have only experienced Earth in the last 200 to 300 years. Yes, you have, none of you have lived that long in human bodies, but your lineage, your parents, the grandparents, those who came before you, which you do all tap into when you first are born onto the planet. You do take on certain codes and energies from your lineage. But for those of you who are living now, you are living in a time where multiple timelines are allowed to exist at once. And a timeline is both a possible future, but is also the life or the world that someone is living in. So, for example, right now there are some who are living on higher timelines on Earth. And what this means is they are experiencing more peace, more harmony. They are more in the future where more of that has been allowed to land and be created on Earth. Then there are others who are in what we would call a hellish timeline. Your word, not a word that we perhaps use in the same way as you would, but they are going deeply into the suffering as part of their experience on Earth, but also to illustrate the suffering that certain facets of humanity, and we would say non-humanity, like to instill upon other humans. And there is a story you've all been sold about how war is normal, and it is not. It is the small few at the top who benefit from war, and they drag everyone else with them. War is always about control, manipulation, and power, and humans have been fed a story that going to war will keep them safe, and in fact it is the opposite. So you are at a time in history where multiple timelines are happening all at once, and what this also brings back is the fall of prior civilizations. It is why some of you are having doom dreams right now, seeing tidal waves engulf the earth or parts of the country. We understand what these dreams are signaling to many of you, and what we have said is there are going to be, of course, certain disasters on earth during this period of time. We have always talked about this, and we are not the only ones giving you this information. However, psychically, what many of you are tapping into is metaphor. You are tapping into the metaphor of the washing away of an old world that you once knew. And this is very challenging for you, because even if you are intuitive and soul-based, your human body doesn't necessarily understand that the future is coming. So it sees what's going on in the present, and it only can react to the lack of safety, the fear that might run through your body, and also the memory in your soul of what it was like the last time a civilization went down and you were here. So what you are actually cycling through, and this may be a surprising or controversial take for some of you, you are cycling through a lot of darkness very fast so that it doesn't need to play out. Now, we understand that when you look around your planet right now, you see a lot of areas of darkness, and you see a lot of archaic cultural imprints that are destroying other humans, parts of the land, in the name of whether they call it religion or political safety. None of this is coming from oneness. None of this is coming from where you originate from. And there are some humans who embody a heart of darkness or a wound, and they help push that agenda. But there are also non-humans for whom this agenda serves, because you are galactic as a world, not just human and not just Earth. And that is the other thing that is about to be exposed on Earth in these years you are experiencing right now. And of course, it has already been exposed. Many of you ask about when will disclosure happen. It has been happening for a very long time. It is just becoming more mainstream now.